welcome back, everyone. We're now again from Portfolio Reviews with our guest, Grif or Shane. Which one do you go by? Just Grif.
Shane Griffin's my name, but everybody knows me as Grif, so Grif is my Grif's my moniker. Yeah.
We're going with Grif. So welcome back. If you have questions, we're here again to pass them on. We're going to go through a little bit of work for 20-25 minutes. And yeah, we managed to catch you quickly before your talk later on, you just told me. So
that's right.
Welcome back. How is it to be at OFFF again?
Amazing. It's great to be back just in real life with people. You know, you forget how much you miss it. So it's great to see an incredible turnout today. And I'm very excited to see everybody's talks and go through my own later on. So
yeah, definitely. What's your talk? Can we get a sneak of your talk later on? I'm not going to say,
the sneak of my talk. It's kind of about like all the different pillars that you can create for yourself to be able to juggle any task that gets thrown at you, right? So if you have experience in XYZ, then you can apply it to, you know, UVW and expand the work that you do based on that. So it's put more eloquently than that in my talk, but that's what I'm going for. Yeah.
You had a little bit more prep for your talk, so it's all right. It's all right. I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit. I think we didn't even get through this, so just to tell everyone, you know, what you do. And I mean, your work to me is recognizable. So, but let's just go through a quick intro.
Shane Griffin. I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I live in New York now. I'm represented by Psyop, who are an amazing production company. I'm a director, visual artist, so a lot of my commercial work goes through Psyop, and you know, we have a great relationship of sharing ideas and expanding my vision into commercial work there. And from the artwork side, I like to, you know, just create different things as much as I can and try to get some commissions off it, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of split my life right in two. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit more about Psyop, I think, and then we can go into your like kind of personal work and things like that. So what is the kind of mission? How have the last kind of 2 years been as well for, you know, the company? And I saw you just expanded to Germany as well. So what is happening and what are you guys doing?
What's happening? I think Psyop made the decision to go completely remote about a year and a half ago. No, about 2 years ago. Actually, pre-COVID, whenever that was. I can't remember. But they made the decision to go fully remote for a number of their studios then. So they were already ahead of the game in terms of remote workflows, you know, artists living wherever they want to live and kind of really embracing that nomad lifestyle. So they did that, and when, you know, the remote working happened, it was actually just time to kind of put the foot in the gas and really get it. So they were really prepared for that, and they have animators and flame artists and compositors and designers and everything all around the globe now. They've got Psyop Germany, they've got Psyop South, which is down in Mexico. 3 studios in Germany now.
Oh, not just one, okay.
Yeah. One in New York, one in LA. And yeah, they're doing great.
Nice, awesome. What's the kind of vision? I mean, we don't have the website open. We could have shared a little bit about Psyop, but also a little bit about your work. But what kind of clients do you work with?
Typically, I'm doing a lot of automotive stuff at the minute, which is really interesting because I really wanted to get into that line of work. And you know, sometimes you pray and you say the good Lord's name and things happen, right? So I'm doing a lot of automotive. Traditionally, I work in a lot of fashion and sportswear, things like that, and tech a lot as well. So they're usually my clients. Yeah.
And are you still based in Dublin? Are you based in the US? In the US, right?
Based in the US. I'm based in New York now. Yeah.
So how did you get there?
Wow, that's a good story. I moved to London for a couple of years.
Okay.
I really loved it there. I was a young guy when I was there, and I was partying maybe a bit too much.
I've been there as well. I've done the 2 years in London, and it's a classic.
And I was partying a bit too much, and I thought, you know, maybe I should go home for a while.
Yeah.
The real story is that I was really interested in directing live action commercials. So I decided I'd go back to Dublin for a while after London to try and get some commercials under my belt and do that sort of thing. So did that, and it worked out. And I went to New York to judge an award show for ADC Young Guns many moons ago. And I fell in love with New York when I was there. And I said, you know what, I think I'm going to try and make this happen. So put in a visa application, and after a lot of work, I eventually got it. And
that's pretty tricky, so you did well, I think.
Yeah, it was tricky, yeah.
And how long are you with the Psyop now, and kind of what has Firstly, let's maybe just go through digital design in the beginning of your career.
Yeah.
How did you get into it? What was interesting to you? And before New York time.
That's funny because that story actually comes full circle.
Nice.
I'll go into it. But I was in this very small post-production company when I was like 18, and I was like an assist for doing various different tricks and graphics and all sorts of TV effects and things like that. And I really fell in love with the idea of motion design, and I was looking at a lot of the American work coming in, and I saw a lot of Psyop's work, and I thought it was incredible. So I was trying to emulate it, I was trying to really be like that, and I was always an artist. I was never really a good graphic designer, but I was always a good artist. And I felt like there was a real artistic footprint in what Psyop were doing. So they were always in my mind, And years later, well, actually, I won't jump ahead just yet. But after that, I moved from a post-production company to a bit of a bigger one, which was more of a design shop. Then I went to work for a visual effects company for a while called Screen Scene. And when I left there, they were doing Game of Thrones season 1, right? That's how long ago it was.
Okay, fair.
So we were doing Game of Thrones season 1, and I was doing some like flags and fire replacement and stuff. And I said, this is odd for me to say because obviously it's a great show and it's a huge, global success now. But at the time, I was like, I don't really want to be doing this. And that's no slight on them. It was just like, that's just what they were doing. And I was like, I'm more, I felt like I was more of an artist. So I moved to London for a couple of years, worked at a design shop there, and came back to Dublin, went to the States, opened Method Design, right? The Method Studios design wing in New York. And went out on my own after that for a while, and that's been my road so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's so special about the creative scene in New York? I can't remember who we had earlier on. I think it was Temi or Balgasm, and we were just talking about the creative scenes are a little different as well with London and this kind of
Right. The New York scene. It's really interesting because I don't think I'd ever lived in a place where there was such a tight knit community around something like that before. When I got there, immediately all the people I met ended up being very good collaborators, still really good friends. So it felt like a more, what's the word? What's the opposite of dilute?
Dense? Yeah.
There's another word for it.
Now we're just going through this.
But it felt like concentrated. Concentrated is the word.
Yeah.
So it felt like a very concentrated group of really amazing folks that I met when I landed there, and it just really helped me kind of, in a weird way, like believe that was a real potential, path forward career-wise, and it was great. It was great. It was just like meeting new folks, learning their skill sets, blah blah blah, trying to collaborate.
Yeah.
It was a very good time. Yeah.
How has it been in the last kind of 2 years with the pandemic and being home so much, and what is it like to be back at these events?
Yeah. Well, I actually was working from home before pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was a real when it happened, I was like, oh. I just
do the same thing again.
Shit, right?
Actually, some people said the same thing earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I might drop the question.
No, it was totally fine. Yeah, and no, it was really kind of business as usual for me. The difference was, doing live action work, directing live action commercials, took a huge hit, and there was a real pivot toward trying to figure that shoots out remotely and things of that nature. So that was a big change, and we just kind of rolled with the punches there.
Yep. It's really funny because Airbnb just recently announced that they're going full working from home, and as you said with Psyop, it was something you were prepared for.
Yeah.
And it's quite ironic that I think a lot of this generation was just like, okay,
let's do
we're
it.
online and digital anyway.
Yeah.
So. Let's show a bit of your work because I think you
Sure.
have some, couple things opened prior to the stream. So there you go. We can see it on.
Yeah.
Should we start? I don't know, Behance or your website?
Yeah, we can start on Behance if you want.
Yeah,
whatever
let's
you
go
like.
for it.
All right. If anyone is watching on Behance right now, you
Aha.
can you can follow me. There's my. Do I have a URL? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's just /Shane Griffin.
Yep.
And you can see some of my work here. What do you want to go through? Do you want to go through?
I mean, I think you have this on your website with the NFTs and the kind of, more floral inspired
These guys?
storytelling. Yeah, just
All
love
right, let's
them.
do this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so the Equinox, this whole collection came out of the idea of sort of being away from people.
Yep.
And I go through a little later in my talk. If anyone's watching this and randomly at off later on, you'll see it
That'd be
later in the
great.
talk. But a lot of it comes from memories, and a lot of it comes from snippets of my life that I wanted to kind of recreate with this idea of, nature taking over.
Yep.
So with us, everyone being in lockdown for so long, I thought, well, what's the repercussions of that? Like, what does it create? And try to extrapolate that idea and use it as an aesthetic, you know. So yeah, I created this series of works called the Equinox collection, which was about kind of nature really taking back the things that you wouldn't really expect it to take back. So specifically this piece here, Angel's Gate, I went to San Diego at some point in California, and this place actually exists. If you Google it, it's called Angel's Gate, and it's this amazing basketball court that's right on the seafront. It just looks out into the ocean, and you can just see forever, and it's really beautiful. And I thought, oh, this would be an amazing scene to kind of recreate with this idea of what if nobody goes to that basketball court again? You know, what happens to it? So I made this little animated piece. And a lot of this came out of, you know, a bit like the boredom of lockdown, but also the longingness for, you know, nature, and also the nostalgia of, you know, nostalgia just plays in your mind when you're locked down somewhere. So a lot of that came from that. Girl with the Pearl Earring, funny enough, I've actually never seen this painting in real life. And that's
I haven't
what...
either, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is what really drew me to it, is like I'd seen all the other ones, like every classic one you can imagine, I've seen it. And this was the one that I've never actually got to see. So I wanted to kind of recreate it from... Because the other ones were such obvious memories. I wanted to create it from something that was a fictitious memory, if that makes sense. So I went and I had a look at the wall where it's presented right now in the gallery that it's currently in, and I looked at the frame and I tried to recreate them as close as I could, and then you know, creating this kind of dimensional space was a way for me to say, okay, if we're going to recreate these classics, if we're going to reimagine these pieces, why are we going to do it? We have to have a reason to do it, and the reason to do it for me was to bring it into an animated space, bring it into a three-dimensional space, and do something that you can only do in the here and now, basically.
Yep.
The skater piece is my favorite piece of thing I've ever made. This was, I don't know, I've always wanted to do a skate piece, and it's been on my mind for so...
Are you skating yourself? Or
I'm a terrible skater.
Okay,
here's the thing. And this is kind of why I did it, right? Because I'm a terrible skater. I have terrible...
So you could show off at least a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, I can show off in some degree, right? I want to flex in some way, right? But so I, you know... I love skating. I love skating aesthetics. I love, like, all my friends are skaters. I'm terrible at it, but I wish I was like...
You have direct inspiration around you.
Yeah. I was like, this is my homage to skating, you know? And I started doing this, you know, I started doing all these pieces around the same time. This took me months to figure out, actually, really a long time to make. But I was super happy with it at the end.
Are you collaborating and working with anyone else when you go through these projects, or is this something that you're really...
So sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, for the most part of all this Equinox collection, no. Okay. For this one, a buddy of mine, Waran, had actually worked at a skate company for a long time. A skate games company. So he helped me a little bit on this. So we kind of, you know, passed off animation bits and blah blah blah. But you know, an interesting story about this building coming to life here is. This, if you go one street down from my apartment in New York, there's a building, and the building is overtaken with like a green ivy. It's really gorgeous. But if you go down on Google Maps, it's barren, right? So, and it's in between two states in Google Maps. So if you're going down and you go forward, you're going down, you can see it, and you go forward again, it goes from being completely barren to completely full of life. And that was something that really just grasped my attention about that, and I just wanted to it's like memories, right? So I just wanted to recreate the memory of that happening.
Stories are super important to you. You started with the why behind every piece, and going into that, and I really love that it's kind of inspired by real life. So this walking around natural process is just the best you can really get.
I try not to do something for the sake of anything, unless it's got like some sort of tether to me. Yeah. You know, because I think work like this is so personal that you only really feel the emotion. You really only feel the connection if it's something that's truly personal. You know. And funny enough, the Berlin thing was this doorway was totally random. This was like a model that I'd gotten from Sketchfab, and I created on it. But this really didn't have any tether to the rest of the project. It was just kind of a random thing I did, but I decided to throw it in anyway.
Yep.
The girl's hair, funny, this was one of the first pieces of this
Collection.
collection that I did. And I sent it to like 2 of my friends, and nobody vibed with it, which is weird,
That's
right?
awesome.
Thank you. And it's probably the most viral thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like on Twitter, I think it has like 92,000 likes or something.
I think
like
OFFF was also sharing it, or maybe
they
it was
were,
another one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
spotted
cool.
it. So yeah.
But you know, on Instagram,
Yeah.
it gets reposted all the time. But you know, the idea of just kind of recontextualizing nature and what it means to what's the biological blend between us and nature. I was just trying to juxtaposition all of those things with a lot of this stuff I'm doing. So whether that's growing on skin, like organic, or whether it's growing on something innate like concrete, that's just the kind of play that I was trying to capture with this series.
Where are you going to take the concept? Do you feel like it can still kind of grow, or this is it?
It's funny. It does. I think it has legs. I've done a lot of commissions from it.
Yeah.
Which ultimately, like, you can only do so many.
Yeah.
But I like doing them, and it's something that if I have the right idea again, I'll go back and I'll revisit a part 2. I start working on a part 2, but there wasn't really enough of it to go on. So it's going to take me to kind of go and have a different life experience to pull something like that into it, and then be able to recontextualize the work that way rather than just doing it for the sake of it,
Great one. How are you going to keep kind of experimenting as well beyond this, this collection? You're really interested in technology, right? And also science and the kind of, blend with art as well. So, what is exciting for you in this year in terms of, we were talking mostly about NFTs, I think, here at the conference, but there's going to be plenty more, I'm sure. And,
I'm trying to not say the word NFT in my talk
I'm
today.
also buzzwording, like,
No.
and catching it
they're
here
great.
and there.
They're great, but
I also
I'm trying to
think
not say it.
Yeah, fair.
Where does it go? I'm really excited about, I know everyone's going to say this word today, but metaverse stuff. I am actually genuinely very excited about it, and I have a thing in my presentation later on, which everyone will see if you're here at all.
Nice.
And I've tried to, figure some things out. I'm really excited about the people's identity online. What that's going to look like, the way people are going to express themselves online when things like a three-dimensional social media gets democratized. Like, what way are people going to explore those feelings? What are like? I think about when I was growing up, what way kids express themselves in their teenage years, right? And it was very, very much about music, and it was very much about. It wasn't even really about fashion then. Maybe it was actually a little bit, but a lot of it was about music. A lot of it was about like that kind of tribalist nature of like finding people that who have similar interests. And I'm excited to see where that goes in a digital space, and being able to help where I can to shape the aesthetic around that and try and
take
try
a
to
space,
explore.
carve something.
Bingo, yeah.
It's really interesting because I think we haven't talked about this today yet, but the kind of imprint of social media that's feeding us all this content and maybe making us less creative at the end of the day. It's quite a big question in terms of how do you switch off and find a right balance with content and just consuming in general.
Absolutely, I think like it's good and bad. You have this algorithmically generated content feed which really plays to the things that you like and blah blah blah, and that's amazing. But it also prevents, in a way, experience to dominate your creative process. And I think that's what I've been fighting against for the most part with a lot of the work that I've been doing. Is really trying to reorientate my experiences and reorientate my inspiration. Sorry, reorientate my inspiration to experiences rather than to do it through things that I've seen. And I think that's been working really well. I think. Anyway, so long live experiences. So speaking of, it's good to see everybody in real life again.
Any other work that we can pick? I think we only went
You
through
pick
like.
one. What do you want?
Ooh, okay, let's see.
There's so many.
What's kind of more recent? Ooh, the Wiz Khalifa one.
You want to see this one?
Yeah.
Funny one.
Music. We talked about music, so.
Wiz. So yeah, I got this random email from Wiz's team one day, and they said,
That's pretty nice. Waking up with your coffee in the morning.
yeah, they said, we really
We're
like what
mates now.
you do. Yeah. It was like, you want to be mates? That's great.
Hang out.
And they had referenced a couple of things I'd done, and they had a very vaporwave type of aesthetic
Yeah.
on the board, littered in with some of my stuff, which I wouldn't necessarily call that. And I said to them, okay, cool, but I'm going to just take it and just completely do my own thing with it, and you'll get inklings of all these little things and sprinkles of all these goodies, but I'm just going to freestyle it. And that's actually what I did. I took the edit. This guy called Joe Hood did the edit.
Yep.
Nice guy in LA. And he sent me like he sent me the string out, and I took it and I broke every shot apart, and I thought, I'm going to just take every time I go to the next frame, it's a different shot. I'm going to redo everything, whatever happened in the previous shot, I'm going to completely go the other way. As an experiment, they were very nice to let me go and do that, and we had a blast. But like I threw the whole kitchen table at this thing, and funny enough, like I'm not the best compositor in the world, but this was I think I did this in about 2.5 weeks. It was about a 3-week project.
Okay.
So it was really, really intense.
Yeah.
And
impressive.
Great fun, though. Great fun. Like, how can you not
Some
have fun with
typography
it?
as well. That's cool
Thank
to
you.
see. It was noted in the chat. Someone was like, look at that font. It's great.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
another
can't remember
element.
the guy I bought that off, actually, that font. He's in my inbox there on
Okay,
Behance.
cool, yeah.
If you're the guy who I bought that font off, I can't remember
Hello.
your name, but you're
Yeah.
awesome and your fonts are amazing. And he sent me I think I sent him a DM or he sent me a DM or something like that.
There was a chat
There was a
conversation.
chat,
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, I love the font. Thank you so much for thing. And he was like, thank you so much for using it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And his stuff is awesome. So I actually went back and I bought another one.
Love it.
Yeah, so I did a lot of these fluids in Houdini. I comped everything in After Effects.
Yep.
I don't even know how I even did that frame. Like, it was real. I swear, this was the biggest experimentation. I just I just took the bull by the horns, and every day I just created something new. So I was going through literally about 10 shots a day. It was really
That's
intense.
insane.
It was really good fun. Like, you look at it, it's completely random. And then when you I had this bit where one of the girls, she has 4 eyes. I don't know why I decided to do that, because it was a nightmare.
When you
to
deliver
track
that, you're
back
thinking,
in.
what is the feedback?
Yeah,
What
I
am I
was
gonna
like,
get?
you
And they're
know?
like, this is great.
and they were great about it. They were just like
brilliant.
yeah, keep going,
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. You can see some of my chromatic work in there. There's all the fluids. Like, Wiz has blue skin. It's it was great. Yeah. And there's my name on it. But,
Yeah, funky.
Thank you. It was
Great.
good fun, that project. Yeah.
Nice. We have about kind of 2 minutes to go, which went by really quickly.
That did go quick.
Yep. What are you looking forward to at OFF? What's going on? How long are you here for?
I'm here for the whole weekend. I'm going to
Nice.
go back on Sunday.
Okay.
What am I looking forward to? I want to see anyone who's going to show us a peek behind the curtain of new tech. I'm
Okay.
really, really interested in it,
Yeah.
because I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to do it,
Imagine you're just the only one who's like.
I hope not.
You're like, I'm
not.
having to take the lead.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I think
Cool.
that people really use OFF as a platform to amplify, not only what they've done but what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So I hope to be able to do that and to experience a couple of other people who are doing that. So.
And I'll just plug your talk later on, which is at 6. You
6:30.
said 6:30. So good luck for that.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm on
the
the open
joining us.
stage if anyone wants to join.
Yeah. Great
I
one.
really look forward to it.
And we'll be right back in about 2 minutes with Anton from Adobe, actually. So some internal sneaks now that we're getting from the company. But thank you for joining us, and
Thank you.
have a great time at OFF.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. you.